Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to talk a little bit about electricity. So we're all pretty familiar with electricity, right? It's in our phones and in our TVs and our lights and whatever you're using to watch me on, right? And it comes from batteries or it comes from the power lines outside, it comes from a lot of different places. But the main thing that you need to know about electricity for it to work is that it has to go in what's called a circuit. And that means that it has to be able to sort of travel in a circle. It can't be open on one end, and it can't be in a circuit or a circle that isn't totally closed. So if we think about our light switches in our homes or in our buildings wherever we are, or at school, wherever, our light switches work by completing that circuit, by closing that circle so that the electricity can flow all the way around and light up. So that's kind of hard to envision. So I have a light here that will hopefully help us out a little bit. So I have my power source here, and it's this battery, okay, just a normal battery. And I have this little battery holder that has two wires so that it can be hooked up to something for it to power. And then I have this little light bulb here, just a little light bulb, and it has two sort of edges to connect the power to. So basically what we're going to do is just connect this battery to the light bulb. And you're going to see that the electricity has to travel in that circle. So I'm going to hook one of these up to one side and kind of twist it around a bit so it is a little more, so it'll stay put and we don't have to mess with it too much, hopefully. All right, there we go. Good enough. So I have this battery here. I have the light bulb here. I have the battery here. And so now you can see the wire on one side is connected to that light bulb, and I'm just going to hold it so that it stays put. So this is the other side of the battery, and when we connect it like this, you can see the light bulb does light up, and we disconnect it, it goes out. See? And so if we think about this as the light switches in our buildings, wherever we are, this is when the light switch is turned on, and this is when the light switch is turned off, right? So on, it's all touching, it's in a nice complete circle, and then off, that circle from the power through the light, or whatever it's powering, is not a full circle, right? So circle of electricity works, broken circle doesn't work. All right, so that's pretty much how electricity needs to work. So I have another illustration or another example for you, and this is probably not something to try at home. If you do decide to try it, please make sure you have an adult nearby and water, okay? So what we're going to use for this one is a 9-volt battery, and so this is similar to the battery that I was using before, except it's more powerful. It's 9 volts, or it's designed for different types of things, and of course it has the positive side and the negative side on the same end instead of on opposite ends. So what I'm going to do with this is basically complete the circuit just going from there to there. So I'm going to close that loop. And so this is also going to show us what can be dangerous about electricity. So electricity is very useful, as you can see, because you're watching me and you're doing all these other things with electricity, right? So it's very useful, but it can also be dangerous. And so if it's left in a closed circuit for too long and it's not in a safe sort of environment or setup, then it can get really hot and then it can start fires. So what I also am going to be using here is some steel wool. So this is made out of metal, so it's very conductive, right? That's one of our new words for the week, conductive. It conducts electricity very well because it's a certain type of metal, and so it's really fine, small small kind of, it's like wool, except it's made out of metal, right? But that conduction is going to help close that circuit with the battery. So I'm going to put this on a metal plate because, as you might have figured out by now, it is going to catch on fire. So again, if you do this at home, please do it with an adult nearby, and please have some water handy. I just have a bowl of water here just in case I need it. I don't think I will, but just in case. So I'll tilt this up so you can see it. I have my steel wool here. I'll get it a little closer. Steel wool, battery, going to close the circuit, and it's as simple as that. It just closes the circuit immediately. It gets really hot, too hot for the steel wool to handle, and a fire is the result. So as you can also see, there's not a whole lot of steel wool there to burn, or at least it's not very thick. So it goes out pretty quickly too. There's just not a whole lot of stuff for it to sort of use as fuel for the fire. But I can definitely smell that it is fire, and there's a lot of smoke going on here. So that's a very clear illustration of why we need to be careful with electricity also when we are doing things that maybe we're not sure if they're really safe, because they can cause danger and fire. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned a little bit about electricity and how it works on a general level. And I'll see you next time for another experiment involving electricity. Thanks. See you soon.